Good morning, everybody. We are here for a leg day. I could have told you that, or you could have just guessed by the shirt. Long sleeve shirt means leg day. We got the socks popping. We got the shimmy shimmy ya on the socks. Off on a natural charge. Bon voyage. Leg day. Smith machine feet forward squats. Smith machine good mornings. Leg extensions. Adductor machine. Your mother, your father, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, do you in the bottom, drinking sangria. We are here. Let's do it. Leg day. It's gonna be good. So we've reached our first stop on today's trip down Legday Avenue. Smith machine feet forward squats. Now before I start, I'm going to put on my man heels, AKA my Olympic lifting squat shoes. They just have a 1/2 inch heel lift within them. You can certainly just stand on a small plate and can achieve the same thing if you don't feel like buying the shoes, but standing on something will allow you to be a lot more upright. So if your ankle mobility isn't amazing, this is one of the cheat codes to allow you to remain very upright while you get down very deep. One of the cheat codes. I'll show you more as we progress on.
Show me the top of the face. Is that Jesus?
That's ODB. It might as well be the same thing as Jesus. Might as well be the same thing. So we're gonna start with Smith machine feet forward squats as the first movement. I find this movement for myself to be the most taxing, the most fatiguing. So that's why I'm going to start with it first. 3 working sets in the 6 to 10 rep range, slow eccentric or really slow lowering, full pause at the bottom, come all the way up. I'm now in week 2 of my training block, second block of my diet. So the workout is not that hard, but it's not that easy either. Somewhere in the middle. Maybe I'm using something like 85% or so of what my best is for the rep range in question. So I'm going to warm up, and I've talked about this before with the cambered bar benching. I'm only going to warm up as much as I need to really get ready for the weight sets, reps that I need to do, and no more than that. So I'm gonna tell you now before I do it. I'm gonna grab a plate, or a plate and a 25, not sure. Do about 6 reps. Add another probably around 50 pounds or so. Do another 3 to 5 reps. 1 or 2 reps at the working weight, and then I'm going. Really, really save my lower back for the actual working sets. So the lower back is one of those things. It really gets finicky. It really gets tired. So you gotta give it its just due. So as I said, the first tip to getting down really low is elevating your heels. The second tip, when you do a Smith machine feet forward squat, yes, it's in the name feet forward, but it's only marginally forward. You're only stepping slightly in front of the bar. So often you'll see people perform this movement and almost form a complete 90-degree angle like they're sitting in a chair. It looks awkward and they're not able to get down low or produce significant force. You don't want that. So if I'm right under the bar like this, which I am, I'm only walking slightly in front of the bar, pointing my toes and knees out, and that's it. And then I'm G2G. Chest up, knees forward. Set, down slow. Knees out, feet out. Pause, press all the way up. Chest up high the whole time, elbows positioned down, pause, and up. Yes, yes. Fat shouts to body masters. What I think is the greatest Smith machine ever made. This one right here. It's very rare. I'm very fortunate that I have it.
And what's special about this Smith machine?
This Smith machine specifically?
Yeah.
As in, why do I love it so much?
Yeah.
Amazing. So, few things in no particular order. Number one, it's not the lightest Smith machine in the world. Some of those Cybex ones that are highly responsive, that have a really thin bar, you might see them at UFit or some other big box gyms. They're fine, but they're really, really light. This one, not that light. Second of all, the bar itself is thin. Again, also at a lot of big box gyms, you might see that Smith machine that has a really, really thick bar, not as comfortable. Thirdly, this one is also very responsive. Some Smith machines have a delay when you press or when you squat. It almost feels like there's a very subtle lag in between your motion and the bar moving. This, very responsive. And fourth and final, this one gets very deep. You're not gonna have issues with any stoppers. 4. That's why this Smith machine rules. Rules.
Shout out Body Masters.
Shout out Body Masters. So easy warm-up set just to start to acclimate to the movement pattern. I like to warm up within the set. You don't ever see me do any stretching beforehand, any dynamic warm-up. You can, but I find specificity to be the most important with this kind of lifting thing. So start warming up by actually doing the thing, albeit with significantly lighter loads, farther from failure, and then progress the load as you feel more and more warm. So we just did 135, calling the bar 45. Who cares if it is or it isn't? Short form, it is.
This one actually looks 45.
It's probably not, but I don't think it matters.
Compared to the other Smith machine bars I've seen?
Yeah. So now I'll do another 5 or 6 reps with this, and yeah.
So you're still in your warm-up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And one thing whenever I say one thing, just know it's never gonna be anything. So you know when someone says, I don't mean to offend you? Yes, you do. You're totally gonna offend me. In this case, when I come down, I like to really set my body upright first. Cue my knees forward a touch, and then continue pushing them forward. You really don't want to sit back on this movement if the intent is quads. That's why you're orienting your body almost like a hack squat, where you're slightly in front of the bar, so the movement is completely linear, up and down, knee forward, no sitting back. Throw it back at home, at night, at your job. Not here if you're trying to train quads appropriately. And for those of you that like to get really granular with your exercise technique and execution, which I am here for, you are my people. Am I resting completely at the top? Yes. Am I locking on my knees at the top? Pretty much yes. Is there a lot of tension throughput in my quads at the top? No, there is not. Do I think that it matters? Also, I do not. Controlling the movement throughout, having a slower eccentric, a full pause, spending ample time in that stretch position and training close to failure, I think that is the most important. And you keeping constant tension on your quads, it all shakes out in the end. And me resting a little bit more at the top allows me potentially to get an extra rep or two while keeping my technique even more succinct, more precise, having an even better gauge of how many reps I have left in the tank instead of just grinding through it, I think is a well thought out thing, self-servingly.
So question, once you start doing heavy weight, what do you think about locking out your knees at the top?
Great question. Whenever you ask, once you start doing X amount of weight, do you presuppose that something changes? Nothing changes. My technique with 135 will look the same as my technique with 275 for my working sets. And for you all at home, it should be the same. Don't look amazing in your warm-up sets. Pauses, slow eccentrics, control, fantastic positioning. And then when the weight gets heavy, everything changes because you're looking to chase the weight on the bar. Don't do that, that's amateur and not smart. You wanna be smart. If you're here, the Shim Show on YouTube, 3rd video, it's because you're smart. Yeah. So I've done 135, 185. Now I'm gonna do 235 for another warm-up. And I may do a fair bit of warm-up sets for movements that really load my lower back, like this, especially as a first movement, but I keep them short. You guys remember in Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, when he's like, negotiations would be short. My negotiations with each set are short. I just seem to have several negotiations taking place concomitantly, which means at the same time. So I'm gonna do like 3 with this. Okay. Awesome. So that was just 3 reps there. Nothing crazy. And I think that now, next set, we're ready to cut heads. We filled up the car with gas. We've picked up our protein from the supermarket. We've packed our bags. We've made our driving playlist. We've set the GPS. We're now ready for the working sets. 3 sets of 6 to 10 or 7 to 10 reps. Full range of motion. Around 3 reps in reserve. I am going to put on my music. And then we gonna get freaky naughty. So hopefully, cameraman was able to capture all of this. As the set progressed, the technique, at least I try my darndest, does not change. And I find, and this is decently a hot take, if you practice your best version of great technique for long enough, your technical and absolute failure and your proximities to reach each become somewhat married. So these days, could I grind more reps? Maybe. But I find that once my technique starts to break down, there's oftentimes not a reason for me to continue the set. I don't think the risk reward is favorable. That being said, this was only a week 2, so that one was probably 3 reps or so in reserve. But they still make you breathe heavy, because if you know, slow eccentric pause squats are one of the hardest movements you could do in the gym. I would say that. I would absolutely say that. I would say that, pulling off a threesome with 2 girls you just met at the gym, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't time my rest periods when it comes to this because it's pretty damn difficult and it trains a lot of muscles. So I think really giving compound movements grace, or movements that are highly, highly fatiguing, this, hack squats, bent over rows, stiff legs, stuff like that, I don't think it makes, you can, but I don't think you need to time those rest periods. Time the movements that aren't that fatiguing, the push downs, the curls, the calves, that sort of thing. But stuff here that has a really big return on investment from a physique improvement standpoint, when you're ready, go. Even if it's 5 minutes, who cares? You'll make up the time on the succeeding things that are not that hard. And I don't know how much raw footage is gonna be in here, but these sets, they take a while. So to the point of rest periods before, if any of you are personal trainers that follow me and you remember your personal training book where they said your work to rest ratio favorably should be a 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 1-to-3, we're still actually, what's up baby?
Scott.
We're still actually following that. The thing is just the set is long. So if someone does a set and it lasts 40 seconds and then you rest 2 minutes, 40 times 3, 1-to-3 ratio, that's normal. In this case, if my set is 1:20 times 3, that's 360. I'm resting whatever that is, 3 to 4 minutes, which is basically in line with what I'm doing. Yeah, but either way, this stuff takes a while. But the cool thing is that once you do this really hard shit, everything else pales in comparison. Everything else is just easier. Hopefully, if you designed your training properly. Nice. Knees forward, chest up, control, control. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Hold. Good. Nice. Nice. See, don't say I'm the only one, social media. You can do it too. You can.
Nice. But that being said, real quick, and I will elaborate on this with the next movement that I do, don't go through a range of motion that you can't control. Just because it looks cool, you saw someone else do it, or because you think you should. Go to the range of motion that you can control, which control will be defined as pain-free, produce ample force, maintain the appropriate body position. This is very important. Very, very important, especially nowadays with the advent of full ROM and of course Renaissance periodization. They have a big following, they push that, people follow them. I have a small following, people see me, they copy, whatever, fine, have an Aguila. But you only wanna go to the range of motion that you can go to. That being said, if you can do more range and you're not, then you're missing out. But going all the way down in a squat when your lower back butt winks significantly, or you round, or your hips shoot back, or doing a deficit deadlift, but again, your hips shoot up, that is inappropriate. Don't do that.
What are we thinking, Shim?
3 sets in the books. Out
Bottom
of breath.
quads.
Out of breath. They're all right. They're whatever. They're okay. I would like to add something else as I continue to add things. And I've mentioned this prior. When your technique, your execution, your effort, and your exercise selection are top tier, or whatever you deem top tier for you, you don't need as many sets as you think you do. You really, really don't. That being said, it's not gonna be a 1 set. We're not a one hitter quitter, 1 pump chump, no. But at the same time, 6 sets of squats or something, or even walking in and saying I gotta do 4 sets, week 1 or week 2, probably inappropriate. This was 3 working sets. Maybe at the end of my training block, I'll do 4. And that's plenty. My reps dropped, got a decent pump on my quads. Decent, nothing crazy, remember, week 2. And I have room to progress week over week. I'm not stalling out or 1 pump chumping myself week 2 and be like, I'm good, I'm good. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Rounds, baby. Rounds. What's your stroke count? Fat shout, Cat Williams. You know, you gotta know your stroke number, right? You know about that, right?
No, bro.
You don't know about the stroke number?
There's a stroke count?
So Cat Williams, you know who that is.
Yeah, heard of the guy.
Heard of the
I'm
guy?
fucking with you, yeah.
Jesus
this
Christ.
Shit right here?
Yeah. This shit right here, this shit right here. This shit called cryptocutellite. Nah, this shit right here called death. You mean I'm gonna hit it and die? That don't even sound attractive. Nah, you take 1 hit of this shit here, you can't hear shit. I don't even remember where I was going with that. We've done 3 working sets of full range of motion. Now, fat shout, I wanna say the real muscles from Brussels, but we can never insult the supernatural Jean-Claude Van Damme. So the second muscles from Brussels, even though he's technically, I don't know if he's from Brussels, from Belgium, Milo. What's up, my friend? Dr. Milo Wolf, Wolf Coaching on Instagram. He's really extolled the virtues of lengthened partials, or spending more time in the stretch position and not as much time in the shortened range or even in the mid-range. So I'm trialing this out. Do I know if I'm gonna love it? I don't know, but I'm giving it a real college try. So I'm running it for this entire mesocycle, and I'm gonna see if I like it. If I like it, I'm gonna keep it, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna skeet it. So what we're doing here, being that it's new for me, I'm still babying the movement. And probably some good advice, if you've never done a movement before, you're just learning it, stay farther from failure, baby it, go easy. You'll probably pick up some novelty gains along the way, really lock in the technique, and then when you build momentum and you really have some confidence, then start pushing it much closer to failure. I've got 215 on the bar. I'm just gonna do 1 set of a lengthened partial. So I'm gonna go all the way down, pause, come up halfway, or my best version of halfway, and then go back down again. Trialing it. I'm not telling you it's amazing. I'm not saying you must go and try it. No, I'm just telling you that I'm trying it transparently. I don't know everything. There's a lot of things I don't know, and I'm still trying to learn, incorporate new stuff. Never commit myself to one style, to keep an open mind. Frank Dukes, my hero.
Using any technique that works. Never to limit myself to one style. To keep an open mind.
All right, now, we're staying here. If you can orient your training to take place in a similar spot in the gym,
That's nice. That makes it fun, simple, easy. So now we're gonna go right into good mornings and stay on the Smith machine. I'm already kind of warmed up. My lower back certainly is. Still staying in this position, but now we're gonna do the hamstrings. We're gonna throw it back. This is the most sus exercise, one of the most sus exercises, but it's a good one. I will walk you guys through technique. And the point that I said before about not pushing to a range of motion that you can't control, this is really big here. And this was a big unlock for me, because with this movement, and I know I'm talking a lot, but I'll show you. With this movement, I used to go down very low. And from the outside, it looked cool, it looked right. But frankly, I used to get a decent amount of pain or pump in my lower back and my glutes, not so much in my hamstrings. Now, I only go down as low as I need to, where I can maintain a flat or neutral spine throughout the duration of the movement, and then I come back up. So I don't go down as low, but my hamstrings get much more disrupted. So with good mornings, now I have to get this out of the way, elephant in the room, because it's weird. I like to do hinging stuff with no shoes on. Don't get it twisted. There's not some weird hippy dippy thing. I don't care about like, oh, I'm feeling the ground. I don't have rhyme or reason for this one. When I do hinging barefoot, any kind of stiff-legged deadlift or good morning, I just like it better when I'm barefoot. I don't know why. So just get that out of the way. I just like it. Now, to the movement. Just like when we did squats, we walked marginally in front of the bar. Now, we're actually going to walk marginally behind the bar, with the intent being to pre-stretch our hamstrings. So, if right under the bar is here, which it is, I'm just gonna go boom, boom. I'm here now. Toes out, knees out, and I initiate the movement by pushing my butt to the back wall with an upright chest, slight bend in my knee. And lastly, I'm trying to keep the weight in my heels. So, and a further thing that you can do if you're not feeling it in your hamstrings, or even if you are and you want to further reinforce the tension in your hamstrings, you can subtly lift your toes up as you descend down. You don't have to do this, and you don't even have to do this for all the reps, you can do it for some. When you come down, you can lift up just a little bit. Not enough where you're gonna fall, but instead of completely flat, you can just lift just a bit. And that might subtly, or not really subtly, but you might feel that a little bit more in your hamstrings, reinforce. It's an idea. It's an idea. So, 3 sets on here. I'm gonna actually do these in the 8 to 12 rep range. 3 sets, as I said. Let's do it. Let's get her done.
So what about your chin? I see you normally keep your chin up high. Is it just because you're looking at your form? 'Cause sometimes I know people recommend keeping your chin down, keep the head neutral with the spine.
Yeah.
Does that matter for you?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that head position.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, Sade. Here, head position is irrelevant. Head position is not irrelevant in other situationships. Yeah, force is not transduced to the neck. So a lot of people say that, like, no, you have to keep your head tilted or upright when you squat. No, you fucking don't. No, you don't. You need to keep your whole body upright. Where you put your head is, that's for you to decide, you and God. One other thing that I have to add is that some years ago, I actually mildly tore my left hamstring.
So when I do hinging work with a really big range of motion, my hamstring actually starts to ache. So slight bias here as well. I do think that for many people that I've worked with, coached, whatever, when they cut their good morning range of motion slightly, but still feel a lot of tension in their hamstrings, it feels better. But I do have a bias that when I go down really, really low, it does feel a little bit ick in general. So just have to put that out there. Although I still think that my previous points ring true. Only go to range of motion that you can control. And if you don't know what control means, scroll back to the earlier part of the video. And if you're paying attention, especially to the end of these sets, you can see nothing is that hard. You say, why isn't he training hard? Why isn't he training to failure? Basta, calmate. Time and a place. There is a time and a place. This is not a time nor the place. I'm intentionally keeping reps in reserve. I'm intentionally training a bit farther from failure. Is it maximally stimulative? No. Is it still highly stimulative and getting the job done? Absolutely. That is my intention. Week over week, I will add weight to the bar, I will match the reps or beat them, and I will add sets, which will get me closer and closer to my maximum performance at the time. Of course, being under the context of carrying fatigue from previous weeks. So if you're seeing these sets, you're like, he has so many more that he can do. Yes, absolutely. That is my intention. Same with squats. Like, he wasn't going to failure, correct? I was not. But as we continue to get these videos out to you, you'll see how the training changes. Frankly, you'll probably see how my mood changes too. I might be like bouncy and jumpy and stuff here and closer to my harder weeks. I don't know, because I'm generally a pretty jovial, gregarious person, but I might be a little quieter, I might be a little bit more serious, maybe, because everything is harder and I'm carrying more fatigue, maybe. But probably not, because like nobody loves a fucking lurch, you know? So this will be my last set here. I got 12 on the first, 11 on the second. I'll probably get 11 again, no sweat. And then we're gonna move on to leg extensions. And then adductors and whatever, third course, secondi, pesce, carni, burrata, all that shit. So we finished all of the axially loaded stuff, all of the exercises that load our lower back, squats, good mornings. Now we're moving on to leg extensions, which is just colloquially the easier leg extension, the easier quad movement. But it requires some rigging. It requires some tools, some toys. I know you guys know all about tools and toys. I know. So what we're gonna do here is we want to present the quads with significant stretch and tension in the stretch. And most leg extension machines are subpar because they don't allow you to go all the way back, or at least go all the way back with a significant load. It's fine to go all the way back when you have the pin all the way up, but when you're not a beginner, that can be problematic. So what do? Insert some kind of pad. I like to stuff as many pads as I can in my pants, I mean on the machine, to push my quads back as far as I can. So I know it looks really weird, and it is a pain in the butt. But if you're Nelly the narc like I am, who likes to have everything pedantic and relatively perfect, then you do it. So I bring this pad from home. It's 2.5 inches. Other things are not 2.5 inches. And then stuff it here. And then one leg in, one leg in, and we're in. Bam. Got it. And I don't know if you noticed, but I wasn't going all the way up either, most of the way up. Like I've mentioned several times already, there's a lot of research that's coming out that may be showing that the lengthened portion of the repetition may be independently more hypertrophic, muscle growth promoting, as compared to the mid or shortened range. I'm not taking that all the way to task with lengthened partials, but I'm manifesting that in my own training by just not going all the way up with certain movements, most of the way up. So here, I'm just not locking out. That's it. So I'm gonna do 2 or 3 more sets. I have to check my logbook, 10 to 15 reps, and that will be it for the quad portion of the training session. 2 movements, 3, 4 sets apiece. That's it, man. Peanut butter M&Ms. It's good. It's good. So the 2 10s on there worked seamlessly. The 25 might be a little bit jank, but that's. And I leave it on 9 because even if I use the pin, still as you go lower, it will still hit the stack earlier. So I think.
You do realize that, like, all this, it's like, great.
I don't get like, I can't.
You won't think about it
Yeah.
because you're used to it.
Yeah.
Other people
Maybe.
tell them, you know?
Yeah. I can't let my mind go there because when you start to believe your own hype, you lose. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start to think like, oh yeah, like I'm good, like that shit is awesome. Yes, but then at the same time, that can also breed complacency where if you don't think about it and you're just like, oh, I just keep doing my thing and it's fun and just keep challenging myself, then that just perpetuates just further outperformance, I think. Did you get that?
No,
Fuck, you're lying. Did you really not get that?
I got that, bro.
Okay.
Think I'm some type of amateur here?
What?
Think I'm some type of amateur here?
No, of course not.
You're good, I got you, I got you.
So what if you didn't tie your shoes this morning? That doesn't mean anything.
You got me,
That
motherfucker.
doesn't mean anything. It's a style, huh? It's a style. How are the 1.5? So that, I could say, was independently hypertrophic and muscle growth promoting. You dig what I'm saying? That was really goddamn good. The quads are quadding. The legs are extending. The exercises are exercising. Things are happening. It's good. 2 more sets. Then we go to the adductor machine to work on our for the Lords. These are called FTLs, for the Lords. I'll show you when we get there. Bible study, baby. Yes. And I know these reps take forever. These sets seemingly take forever. When you do these slower eccentrics, full pause, moderate rep range stuff, it's as much a test of mind as it is a test of the body. You just have to stay focused. It's not for these ADD, can't focus people. I need Adderall every second of the day. No, you gotta be able to focus, lock in. 3rd set. And just like I said before, with the axially loaded stuff, I let the rest periods come to me because I'm tired. You see here, these give me a pump. Can't say give you unless you're getting a pump through watching the osmosis. But I'm able to recover in a reasonable period of time. So minute, 2 minutes, I'm ready to go again. And I try not to lollygag. But I do love the song Lollipop. It's a great song. I should be listening to that right now. But I'm talking to you. Talking to you. Okay. So I did it fast before. Now I'm gonna do it in close up so you guys can see because I think some people might have some issues with this. When you're looking to put pads in the machine to get more range of motion, it's weird to get in the machine. So here's how you do it. You slip it through, you push down so you can create a lane for your legs. And you go one leg, the other leg. And now you're in, like that. I felt compelled to show that because maybe it's not so intuitive. Oh. There comes a time in a man's or women's training journey where you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and you say, if a certain muscle group is not at the development that I think it should be at, it is time to train them directly. Usually this time occurs roughly around 5 years or so into decent quality, consistent training, roughly. If you're a beginner, sub 5 years of training, just do the compound stuff. But if after around 5 years of decently hard training, consistent, you never took any breaks, you find that certain muscle groups that are maybe more ancillary, traps, adductors, glutes, abs, forearms, if these are not at the development, or at least growing the way that everything else is, you should probably train them directly. Insert the adductor machine for the adductors. With this machine, it is very favorable to tension in the stretch if it's made decently well. This machine is made more than decently well. It's really, really good. So it offers a ton of tension in the most stretched position, even with a pretty heavy load. So it can make you really sore and it's really stimulative. So what does that mean? You don't really need many sets. We're gonna be doing, I believe, 3 working sets of these today. It might be 2. It's 2 or 3, I'll have to double check. In the around 10 to 15 rep range. I like to call these FTLs, for the Lords, because you work on bringing your legs together, closing them, blocking off the gift that the Lord gave you, and wait for that special someone, you give it to them. FTLs. Every time I do this, I think about the Bloodsport movie where Frank Dukes is meditating in a split position in his hotel bedroom before the kumite. And we will absolutely be posting that clip now.
That hurts me just looking at it.
Down slow, full pause at the bottom. Bring your legs together, down slow again. That's it. And let your range of motion come to you. So, again, don't force a range that you can't control. And it's very important when you do this, put your hands over your crotch. Because, again, FTL, for the Lord. It's not for everyone. It's just for some people. It's not for everyone. You want to be a good gym citizen. Don't be showing the shaboinka to just anyone. It's a life lesson. Now we're on to the final movement of the day. And I can't lie, I was hesitant to show you all this. But transparency is important, and I think that my rationale is sound. So, as a decently advanced, trained male, I'm gonna be doing kickbacks. Yeah? You heard it right. Cuff kickbacks. And I'm gonna tell you why. Hopefully you can hear me. There's a weird street sweeper sounding thing going on. Okay, great. So, for the longest time, I preached, I coached, I educated, whoever was curious to know, when it came to training glutes, I always said train with just compound basics that offer significant opportunity for the glutes to be on stretch with tension. Squats, stiff-legged deadlifts, lunges, good mornings, split squats, I don't know if I already said that, all of those types of movements. But here's what I found. When you're not a beginner and you're decently strong, not even really strong, decently strong, those movements are really, really fatiguing. And yes, they really fatigue your legs. They fatigue your mind, your body centrally. But in many cases, the glutes are not done. So I still think that compound, heavy stretch biased movements should be the bedrock of any training plan that's looking to grow the glutes. But I do think there's also a place for some direct glute work, whether it be a kickback of sorts, an abduction movement of sorts where your leg goes out, or even a thrust movement. Although, frankly, if it isn't a booty builder plate or pin loaded thrust, I'm not here for it. Not sponsored by Booty Builder by any means, but that thrust machine is unbelievable. And pretty much every other thrust machine I've ever seen, whether it's the Glute Tribe, Hammer Strength, you name it, They all suck. So I'm not here for it. So I mostly would say a kickback or an abduction movement in a regular gym. And even with the kickback, most decently equipped gyms have a glute kickback machine, but even that machine can leave you wanting because it doesn't offer significant stretch to the glute unless maybe you're at the top peg of the machine. Once you can use a moderate amount of weight, the movement usually stops you like here and there's no stretch. So that's why I like to use the cuff. Some points that I think about when I do the cuff kickback or the donkey kickback, I don't know, there's so many names for this. I like to subtly hinge, push my butt back, hold on to the crossbar in front of me, stretch the front of my leg as much as I can, in theory stretching my glute as much as I can, pause in the stretch, and then kick all the way back, just like I'm in Time Cop, Death Warrant, or Kickboxer, and I'm Jean-Claude Van Damme. Moderate rep range, just a couple sets is all I need. I've already done squatting, I've already done good mornings. So I've mostly done the deed. This is the sprinkles, this is the Carvel chocolate crunchies on top of the soft serve swirl ice cream cone. Sounds good, huh? Carvel is so good. Again, just 2 sets on here, one leg onto the other, no breaks, and we'll be done. It can be hard to actually find movements that offer the glutes the opportunity to be stretched with tension. So most glute-specific machines, like I'd mentioned, kickback, abduction, thrust, yes, they offer the ability to have the sensation of the peak contraction, which makes a lot of people feel like their glutes are working. And I'm not gonna say they're not, they are. But they don't offer the opportunity for the glutes to be stretched. With a movement like this, or even if you were to do this abduction style, if you could find something stable to hold on to, you can stretch all the way. Maybe not even come up all the way up, but stretch all the way. With this movement, I'm putting my leg as far forward as I can, in theory, stretching my glute as much as I can before coming all of the way up. If I didn't do this with a cuff and I did this on a machine, I wouldn't have that opportunity. So that's why I'm doing it. And again, I'm only doing 2 sets. At the peak, I'll do 3 sets. Majority of my training plan for legs or anything that would recruit, let's say, glutes, is compound in nature, is pretty fatiguing in nature. But throwing in 2-3 sets of something like this, or a thrust if you have a good thrust machine, or a good abduction if you have that, I think if you're looking to bring up your glutes, it's beneficial, whether you're massing or cutting. I think it's a good idea. And as always, remember, if you are gonna do it right. Make technique and execution of primary importance, and then effort synergistically with that. One more set here, and then we're gonna close up shop. Until the next time. What a session. Wow. Smith machine feet forward squats, Smith machine good mornings, leg extensions, adductor machine, AKA FTLs, AKA for the lords, AKA how you doings, and some glute kickbacks. Great session. Thank you for joining. I really hope you learned some things. As always, please subscribe, like, comment, IG, Shimmy93, YT, Shimmy, sorry, YT, The Shim Show, TT, it's TikTok, The Shim Show. You have any questions on technique? You can call me. You got any questions about life? I don't know if you can call me. Depends what the question is. Anyway, have a wonderful day, guys and girls. We will see you on the next one. I had a blast. Peace.